Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Critical Condition. This is a show that we preview, review, discuss, and overall have general conversations about games and movies. So if you do like any of our content, please don't forget to subscribe. So Mitchell, what has been new this week?
Work. Yeah.
Work?
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you watched any movies or played any games?
No, I haven't. Oh yeah, I watched Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay. So how was that like?
It was good.
Did you actually like it?
Yeah, I liked
haven't watched
Margot Robbie's performance in it. Yeah.
Oh, is that why you said that thing on Facebook about Margot Robbie?
Yeah, where can I get me a Margot Robbie minus the excessive crazy from the joke? The fucking Harley Quinn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. And apart from that, we went out for your birthday on Friday night.
That's correct. So that's that's what's new with me this week.
Yeah,
I don't normally celebrate my birthday, but I decided to, on a whim, hey, let's do something different. 31 years in this earth, and I don't recall ever celebrating my birthday.
Fuck, you're old.
It says yes. Anyway, so I decided to throw a party, had an awesome time, and so...
Got the best cock blocked by the bloody the cleaner there, which was hilarious.
Indeed, that was an eventful night.
It was the sheer glee on his face when he did that to you. It was just like, what the hell? Like, I was dumbfounded, but at the same time, it was hilarious.
I think everybody was like, what the hell just happened? Like, I remember because I was dancing, then this girl looks at me and starts dancing with me, and I'm like, all right, excellent. And then all of a sudden, this cleaner just gets in between us, and that was the end of that.
You're like, okay, then see you later.
And I was like, I was devastated. That's probably why I drank so much.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's what we've been up to this week. Just
So, guys, what we have new this week in games is actually the remaster of Final Fantasy XII.
Yeah, also known as Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age.
The Zodiac Age?
Yeah, I know. I got a little bit tongue-tied. I thought you were just going to go with it, but no. You had the Zodiac Age.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thanks for that.
No worries.
So, yeah, it's based on the planet, I guess you could call it, Ivalice.
Okay, the world, the world Ivalice. Yeah.
Where the empires of, I think it's, Arcadia and Rosaria are at war with each other, and there's a small kingdom between the two warring nations called Damaska.
Yep.
And so they're caught up in between this war, and eventually Arcadia ends up annexing Damaska, and Princess Ash.
Yep.
Yeah, she puts together a resistance, and the first bloke that she finds along the way, well, I call him a bloke, he's actually a kid, around that age.
He's in between.
Yeah,
he doesn't really know what he is.
Yeah, is Vaan, who's always wanted to become a sky pirate.
A sky pirate, yep.
Yeah, so that's where it all starts from, and what else do you know about it?
Well, with Final Fantasy XII, I actually played it overseas when I was living overseas. And yeah, it's just a fantastic, epic story. I remember when it first came out that they were saying that it was like Star Wars. It actually got a lot of comparisons to Star Wars and Final Fantasy XII.
But, what did you actually think of the story, like the whole storyline? Did you ever finish it, or?
I actually never finished it. I got I think up to the first judge.
Yeah.
To the first judge. So I did all of Fran's story.
Yep.
I believe I was going through Balthier's story. And then you meet the first judge in this town.
Yeah.
And I didn't beat him first go. And then I stopped playing. And then I got together again with my friends, and we actually finished Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yep.
And then it was gone. Like it was an amazing game though. Like the combat system was revolutionary for its time.
Yeah.
It actually changed everything. Like nothing before it was like it.
Yeah, no, it was. It really did change the landscape of like. It feels like a single player MMO.
Yeah, and that's I think what I really liked about it at the time.
Yeah.
Along with that, what was really cool was the gambit system.
Yeah.
So, like for you guys that might not know what that is, it's a system of commands that you can put in these specific slots for your characters that you don't control directly, because you only ever control one character directly.
Yeah.
You can switch
Which
what
one you
character you're
control,
controlling,
yeah.
but it's mainly real time combat. You can pause it, but it really does defeat the whole purpose of the combat system.
Yeah, because there's so many commands and settings that you can actually set for the AI. That helps you out in combat, and it's really strategic. You've got to, if you're going to play it like hard difficulties, then you really got to have the strategy down. Because if you don't have a strategy and you just go in there, you're going to get your ass chewed.
Definitely.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Especially like I do remember that you do need to pause in boss battles.
Yeah.
Because your ass is grass if you don't, man.
Yeah.
It can turn south very quickly.
Yeah, and there's also the strategy. You got to have proper positioning for you and your character as well, because there's some bosses as well as just regular old mobs that do a cone attack.
Yep.
Not like a cone, but yeah, you know what I mean, like a cone attack. So you got to actually know the boss fights as well as like even mob fights in order to like get through it relatively unscathed.
Yeah, so they telegraph their area effect attacks that you have to dodge.
Yeah.
So this was again one of the first games that you had to position yourself to avoid any damage.
Yeah.
Whereas in Final Fantasies that came before it, it was a turn-based system, so there wasn't any sort of movement that you could do on the battlefield.
Yeah.
It was either attack, magic, item, and limit break.
Yeah,
depending on which
summon.
or summon, yeah. So depending on which one you played. So yeah, it was really. This is why it was revolutionary at the time, because it was also very similar to Final Fantasy XI that came out online.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to make the comparison to Final Fantasy XIV.
Yep.
Because Final Fantasy XI was 14 before 14 was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like in terms of popularity and yeah. So Final Fantasy XI started the trend of the combat system. Yeah. Then Final Fantasy XII did the gambit system, and it looked a little bit different. It was actually also, apart from 11, the first main installment in the franchise that had open world and 3D realized worlds without any sort of pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
So that was quite important at the time too.
Yeah, but you can see where they got the model from for Final Fantasy XIV. It was from Final Fantasy XII. You can see a lot of similarities between the two.
I remember when we used to when we played 14. Remember how many times I told you, man, this game reminds me so much of 12.
Yeah. Especially, I can't even remember what the name of the place is in 14, but you know when you did the Fates and there was that massive dragon up in the snow?
Yeah.
They kind of battle there because it does like slash attacks where it gets people out in front of it and then does certain attacks behind it. You could really see the similarities between that battle system in that as well as like the battle system from 12.
That's right. Yeah. So, sorry.
So you can really understand from that why 12 was like a turning point in the whole series.
But then they went out and did 13, which was like a giant mess that made no sense whatsoever. Like, I never finished 13. I tried, but it was just so bad.
I don't think I ever did either.
No, I remember you fighting the final boss.
Yeah,
the guy that looked like a wall, remember?
Yeah,
he said, "What is this guy, like Humpty Dumpty?" Bad joke, I know, but hey, I was younger at the time.
Yeah, I finished most Final Fantasies. I don't remember the one that I didn't finish.
No, I've had a couple that I haven't.
Yeah, I know.
I still want to go back to 15. It's just that Persona 5 is still like 75 hours in now. Jesus, and I'm nowhere near the end. I'm like, all right, awesome.
Yeah, the ending of 15 is pretty anticlimactic though.
I think they've patched it though, so hopefully, apparently they've made it a little bit more cohesive.
All right, yeah, because you kind of.
I don't know what
happens. Ending, and you're just like.
So don't spoil it for me, please.
No, that's what I'm not going to spoil it. But you get the ending before, if they've patched it and it is a bit more cohesive, that's going to be awesome. But before that, you're just like,
what just happened?
What, really? And then the ending credit thing's kind of like, okay then.
So with Final Fantasy 12, the job systems changed.
Yeah, no, that looks interesting. I think there's 8 jobs in there or 12.
I don't know the specific number, but I know the way that you unlocked your jobs is totally different. Like, whereas before you could go into the license board and make your characters however you wanted them to be. I mean, you could all make them the same if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Now it's actually limited.
Yeah, because in the old system you could actually unlock everything on the license board. In this one, you get your job, and then you go in, and then there's a license board within that specific job.
That's right.
And then you go on through and unlock that. So there's still the licensing system, but they've just put in a job-based system.
A job-based system, which is more in line with Final Fantasy that existed before it.
Yeah.
Especially before 7. Because 7 was realistically the one that branched off and didn't really have any jobs. That was more material based.
Yeah.
Then you had Final Fantasy 8, which was basically whatever Guardian, I think they were called, that you equipped meant that you could equip magic.
Yeah.
And what type of magic, I think, and you had to draw it from the ground. Never played Final Fantasy 9. I've heard it's amazing. I've just never played it because I remember being a kid and seeing the main character Zidane. And one, I didn't like Zidane, the soccer player.
So you're like,
no. And then I saw that he had a tail, and I was like, he has a stupid tail.
Too.
Why would I play a game that looks like coming out of 7 and 8 that were like mature at the time, you know? Then you see this other guy in a fantasy world with a tail. I was like, nah, not happening.
But then regret it. But then you love Dragon Ball Z.
I know, right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like Prejudice Mario, little Mario going, I'm not going to play anything that
I'm
involves...
too good for this.
Yeah, anything that involves a character with a tail. Oh, look at Dragon Ball.
Yeah, but Dragon Ball was...
It
still is.
Dragon Ball Z is still life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no, the job system looks pretty awesome. You know what I'm going to be playing? Pretty much the caster. Because I think there's the red mage and the black mage, but then there's a white mage, but that's just a healer, so I won't be...
And then the green mages are the ones that control time and have protection spells and things like that.
Like,
and poison and whatnot.
And I think the white mage has things like Asuna, where you just like get rid of people's ailments and stuff like that.
Asuna, Kura, Kuraga, things like that.
Kuraja. Yeah, far out. But that's it looks really good. I like the fact that you've still got the license board there as well. It's just that it's a lot more involved now. You've actually got to think about
you got to think of what you're doing.
Yeah, and your other characters, how you're going to build them as well. So
yeah, because I remember for the first time I played it, because I had to restart it a couple of times. I went different places on the board that I shouldn't have gone.
Yeah,
and then ended up 10 hours down the line, my character's being underpowered and getting slaughtered, and I was like, yeah, I should have gone this way.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know, in a way that this is gonna simplify it a little bit. Obviously, I was a lot younger when I played it, so maybe I don't need it oversimplified. But what was it about Final Fantasy 12? Like in name, let's ask you this: what was your favorite character out of Final Fantasy 12? Oh my god.
Well, I want to say Vaan, but he's too much of a kid, you know what I mean? And some of the outfits that they've got him in, he kind of looks like he's a bit of a fairy, but not holding that against him. But it just doesn't sit well with me. Probably Bash, even though he's a tank.
Bash did have a cool story with his brother.
Yeah, because they were loggerheads pretty much. They were at each other's throats because... Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, the storyline behind that was pretty
There's a lot of betrayal in this story, guys.
Yeah.
It was one of the more adult stories in a Final Fantasy game up until that point.
I'm going to have a guess at your favourite character, and I'm going to probably say Balthier.
Indeed he was.
Yeah, I could tell. Straight away, I knew.
Balthier was... I think the reason I liked Balthier the most out of everybody was... just the amazing... I think this is the first time I ever became aware of a voice actor. You know me now that I really enjoy this show, Critical Role.
Yeah.
That is a bunch of voice actors, playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But I think the first time that I I became self-aware that, you know, this is actually a person playing this voice, was Final Fantasy 12 and Balthier, because he has such a powerful and calming voice. It's such a strange one.
It's kind of, he's got a very clinical voice.
I don't know who he is. I actually never bothered to check. I probably should do that.
Yeah.
But it's funny when I play another game and I hear his voice, I'm like, oh my god, that's Balthier.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of-
but the story of Balthier is what was really interesting for me as well, because his companion Fran actually reminds me of my other all-time favorite duo in the sci-fi world, Han Solo and Chewbacca. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess you could draw similarities
Yeah.
between the two.
I mean, you know, she's a half rabbit lady, and he's the captain of a pirate ship.
And he's the intelligent one, and she's the less intelligent one, but she kicks ass as well. So
Yeah. Well, he's the tactics man. She's more the action woman.
yeah, and she's more into like magic. She's more of a
She's a magic caster. She comes
yeah.
from a tribe of magic
Yeah.
casters, and there's a whole plot there
yeah.
that don't want to spoil for you guys if you've never played it.
And if you have played it,
You know what you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, because even though it's not a remake, it's a remastering. I love the fact that it's visually it looks a lot more modern, but I like that they've kept it pretty retro with the design and everything that they've done on the game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Another thing that I really liked about this game was the seasons. The weather changed
Yeah.
the landscape of it, and other monsters came along, and they were more difficult to kill.
yeah, depending on what
Yeah.
weather system was out. Because there was only certain mobs that you could actually kill when it was raining or storming,
Yeah.
like thunderstorms and just like gentle rain. It'd be completely different. And yeah, no, I think that's where they really got the idea for later on, like with like later Final Fantasies, that you could only kill certain mobs at certain times of the day, like morning time, or if it was raining, storming, etc.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it in Final Fantasy 15? If it's raining, electrical spells deal more damage. Is that right, or am I making that up? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then
I think it might have been 13 actually. I think it might have been 13 because I remember there was these orbs that you could change the weather with in 13. I'm pretty
That
sure.
was 13.2.
Yeah, 13.
13.2 was the one that you could change the weather
Yeah.
to get access to the monsters.
Yeah, and then like in that, electric based attacks would do more damage.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
What really struck me as well about Final Fantasy XII, now that we're on the subject, is I mentioned it before, the environments. I remember distinctly the castle, the forest that incidentally where Fran's people live,
Yep.
and the desert, the open desert that is north of, was it north of Damascus? The first time you leave this city,
I'm
I think
pretty
it's
sure
north.
I didn't like. That's the one thing in the game that I didn't like. Was
Oh, you didn't like the
desert.
environment?
No, I didn't like the desert.
Oh, the desert?
part.
Okay.
It's like it just felt very monotonous as you're running through and fighting the mobs and like doing a bit of the storyline. It was just I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. It's probably the least appealing part of the game for me.
Okay. There was also this like factory-looking thing in the desert that you had to go up platforms when you're escaping one of the palaces, I think.
Yeah.
That's stuck in my mind. I remember because it reminded me of Metal Gear Solid Metal Gear Solid 2 when you're trying to escape out of that base that's in the ocean.
Yeah.
But this is like a desert, so I remember making that connection and go, oh wow, that's really cool.
So that's probably why you like that bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm a massive Metal Gear Solid fan.
I remember Metal Gear Solid on, was it Nintendo? No, it wasn't in Nintendo.
Which one was the first one that you played?
Oh, fuck. I was real young.
Like an 8-bit, 16-bit Metal Gear
Yeah,
Solid?
yeah.
Shit. I never played that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, the first Metal Gear Solid that I ever played was the PS1 one, which was, that was life-changing, that game. I think that's one of the first times that I remember, I remember the narrative of the game, but that I became aware that, oh my god, video games can be like movies.
Yeah.
And they can be better than movies because I interact with them. And ever since then, I don't watch many movies.
Because I think PlayStation 1 era is when games become more story driven, apart from like the Tekkens, arcade Tekkens. They had a story, but they weren't an engaging story, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Because it really wasn't a home system, whereas like PlayStation 1 really became a home system, if you know what I mean. More so than like the Atari.
The thing that allowed that as well was the medium, the CD-ROM allowed for videos and audio to be played. So that's when things became a little bit more cinematic.
And also, it was an increased storage device, so you could fit a lot more on there. Whereas
that's right. So I think the medium opened up a can of worms essentially in the gaming industry, and now you have games on Blu-ray discs or in the near future we'll be moving into like a digital future.
Well, you kind of can see that already. Like most of the games that I've got on my PS4 Pro, they're not hard copies; they're just the digital copies.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a lot more easy for me to play it that way.
Yeah. And it also means you don't have to go to the store, you don't have to wait in line. It's just a little bit easier.
And it's not going to be sold out because they can't sell out of digital copies.
That's right. So the only problem with digital that they get unlisted when licensing ends.
Yeah.
Which is quite worrisome. I was actually thinking about that the other day. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about Final Fantasy XII. If you've played any other Final Fantasy, or if you even watched the Final Fantasy movie, The Spirits Within.
I didn't mind it. There's also Advent Children.
I've seen worse movies than this. Advent Children was amazing. Yeah. But yeah, let us know what you recall from Final Fantasy XII, or what you're looking forward to in the series, and leave us a comment.
Definitely go out and get it. I think it's out July 11th.
July 11th? Well, I'll be playing that for sure.
Me too. I'm probably going to go home and pre-order it.
Hopefully by then, I'm done with Persona 5. Because it's been like 5 weeks or 6 weeks that I've been playing this game. I don't regret a single moment of it. I really do enjoy it. So if you've liked any of our content, please like, share and subscribe.
And if you've got any comments for us, please leave them in the comment box below.
And you can also find us on askuscc@gmail.com.
Which is also in the description below.
And until next time, guys.
Yeah, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.